And I am live. Wow, for the last one of the day. But I tell you, this last one is definitely not the least. Is definitely not the least. I already gave it up. I got her name in there. Wait, let me switch that. So if you're watching on replay, I thank you so much for watching on replay. This is Mondays with Miko primary edition. And you may be watching these out of order, but like and share it. Definitely appreciate it if you like and share it. And throughout this final Mondays with Miko, you can go ahead and type your comments in. So please leave any comments that you have. This is how we engage the candidate, okay? And she wants to hear from you. Man, I'm gonna bring her to the stage in a minute. But before I do, I just want to make an announcement or a disclaimer that the the views of the candidate that you may hear may or may not be the views of Miko Pickett. They are definitely not the views of Mayor Miko Pickett and definitely not the views of the city of Mullins. Okay, so just want to put that out there. I offer this platform to anyone who I can share the end of the day. It's important that as citizens of South Carolina and of this nation, that we have our voices heard and that we're making decisions for our elected officials based on what we hear come out of their mouth and what we see they do, and that we understand their life experiences, how it relates to us, and how it will make a difference in our lives. And so that's why I offer it. And I've been doing Mondays with Miko since 2019 when I first started to encourage people to use their V's, to be visible, to use your voice, and to most importantly, vote. And with that being said, don't forget, early voting starts tomorrow. And I've been pushing messages around trying to truly encourage people to vote on tomorrow. Let's pack the polls tomorrow, if at all you possibly can. Without any further ado, I'm going to bring to the stage my friend. She is a candidate for Superintendent of Education, Miss Sylvia Wright.
Hi, Mayor Miko. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we just want to bring people to the table. You're in a chair, I'm in a chair, we're just sitting back, just having a conversation, right?
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it.
And I remember when I first met you, and she was like, I'm running for superintendent education. I'm like, who, what? And sis,
Mhm.
you just took every county by storm. So before we get into that, can you just 2, 3 minutes tell the people about who is Sylvia Wright? Now,
Okay.
while you're running for office, just talk to us about who you are.
All right. So I was born and raised in North Charleston, South Carolina. My dad was in the Air Force, so I'm a military kid. I'm also a military spouse. So being in the military, you actually learn how to like build relationships, and adjust because you're constantly moving. Every 3 to 4 years, I know I did as a military spouse. I only moved one time with my dad because he worked on like the flight line. So he was basically stationed in Charleston, and if ever he needed to go somewhere, he'd go TDY. So we basically were around in Charleston. Born and raised in public schools.
Okay.
Um, yep, graduated from Fort Dorchester here in North Charleston, South Carolina. So I'm a South Carolina girl. What do they say? I'm not a come ya, I'm a bin ya.
I'm gonna come here, but I got you.
Because I get that question a lot. Believe it or not, people want to know
It's
if
so
you're.
yeah, they
Mhm.
do, and that's my biggest challenge. And the funniest thing is that I had not heard that phrase until about maybe a month ago. But
Mm.
hey, I wear my come here with pride. But
Yeah, because you're
but
doing great things.
oh well, listen.
You
I
are
mean,
doing great things.
thank you. It takes a village, right? And now let's
Mm.
jump into it. When I met you, I want the people to know about your background.
Okay.
Um, because you said you were running for you were running for superintendent of education, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, that's going to be a tall order in the state of South Carolina. That's,
Yeah.
ruby red. Uh, what makes you qualified?
Well, the biggest thing is I've worked on every single level in our school system, our public school system. I've been a classroom teacher, a department leader, an instructional coach, a school coordinator, and a district coordinator. So I have seen and worked on every single level. And with that is the responsibility of building capacity, building relationships, leading people, managing funding, um, programs, initiatives to improve like systems, and then looking at the data. I've been in like having to look at the data, make judgment calls, and say, hey, let's do this, let's try this, look at the data, reevaluate, see if it's working, not working. Like these are all the things that I've done, and that's the experience I bring. And not only do I have the hands-on experience, I have the educational background. I
Right.
went to the Citadel for educational leadership, continued at the Citadel, and I have a specialist in educational leadership, specifically for superintendent. And I'm currently working on my doctor of education in systems improvement and innovation. So,
Wow.
yes.
So you're saying that your master's degree was specifically for superintendent of education?
Well, for school superintendent, like to be a superintendent.
Got
Hmm.
you, got you.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's an impressive background, sis. That's very impressive. So you're well educated. Nick,
Thank
um,
you.
so in that, I mean, relationships, you brought up relationships. And that is something that really impressed me about you because a lot of times our I'm trying to figure the word for our highly educated people. You
Hmm.
guys aren't the most friendly, personable folks. But I found that you are. And you,
Mhm.
how many of the 46 counties have you actually visited?
All 46.
Stop playing.
Yep. All four.
You've been to
Well,
all 46 counties.
it took me 2 years though. I've been doing this for 2 years. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So you've gotten to know people all over all
Oh
over
yeah.
the state, every
All over. And
every
I love
county.
it. I love it. I've met so many great people all over this state who are ready for change. And I'm not just talking about Democrats. I'm talking Democrats, Republicans, independents. Like people want change. When it comes to education, they don't care about party. You have
No.
some that do, but the majority of the people that I've met, they just want what's best for their kids. They want a better
That part.
educational system.
That part, and we do. We
Hmm.
want what's best for our kids and our like you and I. I have,
Yep.
I have a 3-year-old grandson that's here in South Carolina. And how old is your grandchild?
He's three.
He's 3. Okay.
Yep.
We probably connected on that. I just forgot about it. I mean, because what I do, I do for him.
Yes.
I do for Heather Kern says you're everywhere. So let's talk
Yeah.
about Marion County for a second, right? Because
Mm.
that's where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
I do want to understand. Let me ask you this one question, then I'm gonna go to Marion
Hmm.
County. As the superintendent of education, so that would be what's the title? State
Yep.
superintendent of education.
That's correct.
Okay, let me update that. Um, so how do you interact with other super? Because every county has a superintendent, right?
Correct. Well, every school district.
Every school district.
Yes, because
So,
your
so
counties might have multiple, like Florence County has, well, maybe I think they merged. Um, but like Richland
Mhm.
County has at least two school districts.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah,
have multiple superintendents, and you would be
right.
the state level superintendent.
Correct.
Do they report to you?
It's more of, um, I know they have like monthly meetings where
Mm-hmm.
they come in. It's more of like a collaboration.
Got
So
you.
they will report to me, but it's not like a report like I'm the boss,
Got
if that
you.
makes sense.
That
Because
does.
I don't have the power to fire them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the misconceptions I think that some people have is as state superintendent, I can just bust up in school districts and do what I want. That's not how it works. Because the people elect their school board, and
Right.
then the school board they select their superintendent. And
Right.
so that's why for me, I set the policies, the standards, curriculum, and then the school boards, the school districts, they adopt the things that we put in place at the state level. So it's more of a collaborative relationship. And provide funding, supports. That's why when you talk about relationships, one of the things that's missing right now is the current superintendent, and I think superintendent's back, but I'll focus on the current one. Those conversations aren't being had with,
Right.
all the districts, finding out what the needs are, and then like being more strategic and intentional about how we provide those supports. And that's the difference that I want to bring to this position. I'm going to be in town halls. I look forward to holding town halls with you in your county,
Awesome.
um, and bringing updates, like showing progress, like this is what's happening, and providing information about resources that can help families, your communities, and your kids. So,
Oh, I love that because I
yeah,
will say that I'm gonna bring it down to Marion County. So our current superintendent, she's retiring, and I love her.
yeah,
I do.
yeah.
And so the process to find her replacement, she has big shoes to fill, has
Yes.
not been. I mean, we had candidates, and then we don't, and then
Hmm.
now we got an interim. Who was an
Yeah,
interim someplace else. So that means that she's definitely just going to be an interim.
yeah.
Would you get involved? I mean, hopefully by the time you're elected, we would have that filled. But let's
Well,
just say for the next district that goes through that, do you get
yeah.
involved in any of that in terms of how superintendents are hired, selected?
I don't, but this is what I want to do differently. We don't have a lot of leadership opportunities, or not opportunities. We don't have a lot of leadership. How can I say this? Our pipeline for leadership is weak.
Okay.
So, like how we're hiring superintendents from outside of sometimes the state, and
Yes.
we're doing all these searches because we're struggling trying to find superintendents. We're struggling trying to find principals and assistant principals. So I want to strengthen our pipeline. And in order to do that, we've got to train up leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have mentorships. And I want to actually tap into your current superintendent who's about to retire. I've actually had a conversation with her.
He's
People
amazing.
like her, I need her as mentors to mentor
Mhm.
superintendents. And that way we can strengthen our superintendent pipeline. We can have strong people within our state. So we don't have to go outside of our state. Train up our principals and assistant principals so that way they can become the local superintendents because they already have the experience. They
That's
know
right.
the system in and out. Why are we not hiring from within? And I'm not talking about good old boy within. I'm talking about people who really care about the students and the communities. you
Clock
know?
it. Yes.
So that's my vision for that. Like not only to strengthen our leadership pipeline, but to provide that mentorship so we can sustain our leadership pipeline.
All right, so I'm gonna go from here all the way this way just for a second, and I
Okay.
want to talk about early childhood education.
Mm, my thing. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so one of the things that I found out through the Hunt Institute Fellowship Program is that 80% of a child's adult brain development happens by the time they're
Mhm.
age 3,
That's
and
right.
90% by the time they're age 5.
Yep.
And so, thinking about kids that don't go to school until 5, it probably is too late,
Yep.
or they're already behind.
That is
Could you
right.
tell me what I get that we think of school as pre-K through 12. What
Hmm.
do you think about early childhood education, or is there anything that could be done at the state level to improve access?
Yes. So when we talk about the pre-K program, the 4-year-olds, because right now it's income based, and if you can't afford the income based, then you have to pay for private preschool. So there's a big gap of students who don't have access. They fall in the middle. And the data shows that because only 39% of students, or only 39% of kindergartners demonstrated school readiness.
Wow.
So one thing that I want to do to improve or to remove that barrier is to provide universal pre-K for our 4-year-olds. And you're right. That's just one thing, providing that universal pre-K. We've got to go back.
Right.
So there are programs like there's Miss Ruby's Kids is one of the programs that I'm looking at to see how we can scale that program and provide there's services like they offer all over the state. And what they do is they're different stages. So let's say from like 0 to 3. I forget, it's either 0 to 3 or 0 to 5. They actually have a mentor or a learning specialist. And this is a community member. So these are people the people trust. The parents already trust them because they're in the community. And
Mhm.
so they would go to the home like twice a week, and they would mentor the parent And then as the student is growing, mentor the student, like teaching the parent how to be the teacher, because the
Awesome.
parents are the teacher first, and they don't know what they don't know. So these learning specialists are there to support the parents so they can, help their kid be successful. And then when they get to school age, the mentor stays with them. It's that connection between the school, the parent, and the child. And of course, if the parent doesn't want it, they can always like say, they don't want those services anymore. But that's how we keep our families connected. So that's, and the thing too to add to that is there's already a program like that the states is paying for. And in 2027, they're talking about getting rid of it because the services aren't being utilized. And
Who
the thing
knew?
is, right, because they don't know. I bet you people don't know about it.
I have never heard about it. Now I
Yep.
know we do have like a 3K, 4K steps program here,
Yep. This is
but
different.
there's but
Yep.
there's a, but there's a wait list to get on those things.
Yep.
And the thing is that as a community, we got to like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds.
Hmm.
They are sponges. So imagine
Yes.
if we fed their sponges with the right information. By the time they get to school, South Carolina may not be, and let's go there.
Yep.
What's South Carolina's ranking in education,
Yep.
sis?
43rd.
43rd out of
Yep.
50 states.
Yep. And we've been in the bottom 10 for the past 20 years. We need new
That's not
leadership.
acceptable.
It is. It is.
Now let's talk about the court. I know
Court
you
or
know about the
shame.
quarter of shame,
Yep.
and so you know about where I live.
hmm
Um, what? How do you address that?
So I worked in the rural area, so I've seen the neglect, and I'm not throwing shade or anything. It's a sad reality. We don't have the teachers because of the pay. I know we lost several teachers to Charleston County, and I think Charleston County just raised their salary to like $67,000 starting.
Wow.
Uh, right. So you have teachers who are commuting an hour because of the pay. So we're losing I wouldn't say all, but we're losing great teachers in the rural areas. So that leaves those kids that are left there without teachers. We have long-term subs there. We have classrooms where the students had to watch a teacher on the screen while a teacher's assistant was in the room, So one of the biggest issues is making sure we provide initiatives or not initiatives, incentives, increase and more competitive pay for our teachers, especially in our rural areas. And there is a rural recruitment initiative, by the way. $2 million of that was spent on international teachers. You know how
Wow.
much? Yep. Do you know how much was spent on first year teachers?
How much?
31,500. Right.
Wow.
So why can we not use that 2 million, turn that into bonuses to recruit teachers to our rural areas? Um, so that's one of the things, the teachers. The next thing is the programs. I'll never forget going to this school that was an hour away. So our district, they built a new school, a new middle school. Well, they were in the process of building it. And so they wanted to see what the STEM lab would look like, the inside of the school, right?
Hmm.
So I remember we were sitting in the STEM lab, and on top of the shelves were all these materials to create things. And then this room was filled with all these machines to create, projects, these STEM projects. And
Right.
all I could think about was our school didn't even have a STEM lab. We might have
Mhm.
had drones. And so I'll never forget the anger inside of me, like that righteous indignation
Right.
of these kids at this school have access to all of this when our kids in the same grade don't. They're not being exposed. The same with our career and technology,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
and technical schools. Like they don't have access like some other areas. So one of the things that I will do as superintendent is expand access because that's not right. It is not right that because this kid is in the rural area, they don't have access to these things. They're just as deserving.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so access.
access is important, and
Mhm.
also maybe even leveraging what works in other counties, right? I
Yes.
don't want to get the county name wrong, or maybe Pickens, it may not be, but they actually do um, workforce development in middle school.
Yeah.
And so one of the
Yeah.
things that I challenge, educators or our systems here in Marion County is that we allow our children
Mm-hmm.
to educate themselves to make a decision whether they go to the ACT. They
Yeah.
don't know what real life is like. They
Yeah.
don't know what it costs to be able to put a roof over your head,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that the jobs that they're training folks for in ACT are the jobs of the future, the jobs
Yeah.
that actually pay living wages.
Yeah.
So I want to, one of the ideas that I had, and I don't know how you feel about this, is we got to educate the parents
Mm-hmm.
who may, because they went through the same school system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to figure out a way to educate the parents on what's available so that little Johnny and little Sally aren't going to school and trying to make, well, what am I going to be? Well, the guidance counselor says I should be this. I
Mm.
think it does have to be connected to community because at one point, I was under impression when I first ran for mayor, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. I think even when I met you, I may have said that. That was until I went through the Hunt Institute program, and I realized no, it's not. It's this. This impacts all of us
Yep.
because if you've got children going through the school system that come behind, they stay behind. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes time for them to graduate, then they're not ready for the workforce, and employers are like they're not ready for the workforce.
Right.
You
That's
know,
right. That's right.
so is there anything? And this may be on the spot, and I don't know the answer. I'm sorry if
It's
I'm putting you
okay. Go
that
ahead.
you can see implementing statewide or at least in the rural
Mm-hmm.
where we're lacking that would
Mm-hmm.
help us to like you said access, but that
Yes.
would be more deliberate in terms
Yes.
of getting these kids into these programs for jobs of the future.
Yes. Okay. So this is my vision.
Okay.
Um, as the district coordinator, I had the opportunity to merge a logistics course and an English 3 course.
Oh,
Okay. This is a program that's being piloted for special education.
okay.
And so, what I want to do is expand that. What they did with this should not just be for special education, because what it did is it made learning creative, innovative. So,
Mm,
kids are learning English, but it's related to a job they want to do, something that's relevant. So I'm taking that and starting in elementary school all the way up to high school. I want to create, the teachers will create courses that are career related. So it merges the career with their basic instructional skills. It's project
love
based learning. Um, and the teacher has that, you know how teachers feel like they're trapped in this curriculum where they have to follow? No, they will create their course. So let's say they want to do like a food science course. Of course, they'll have the standards and the skills that the students need to know. So there's still parameters, but it gives the teachers that freedom to be able to teach the students the relevance of the subject with a career, because there are over 800 careers in South Carolina.
yes.
And so when kids get to high school, they get to ninth grade and they waste 4 years trying to figure out what they want to do. So I want to change up our curriculum to where students starting in elementary are being exposed to the different careers, how it's relevant. One side note is I had the opportunity to tour an electrical alliance facility.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where they prepare or they teach the students how to do the electrical stuff on the construction site. And I'll never forget the instructor telling me the students were learning trigonometry and they didn't even know it.
They didn't even know it.
They didn't know
Yep.
it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's again, this is what I want to bring to our curriculum here. It will make the learning relevant, hands-on. The students will be able to take ownership and the teachers will be able to be more creative and innovative, which is what they're screaming for. It's no longer this prescribed curriculum. We still have our standards and skills, but the teachers can, you know, create those classes that are relevant for students. And the end goal of this, the end game, is when they get to ninth grade. Of course, middle and high school, they've already kind of know what they want to do. They're not locked into it, but they'll have an idea. And so when they get to ninth grade, they'll take like the life skills course, how you were talking about, how like the cooking, like they'll have a home ec class. They need to know how to cook. They need to know how to balance a checkbook. All those life skills courses, that'll be like a prerequisite in ninth grade. Um, and then by the time they get to 10th grade, after they finish 10th grade, they're going to be set on a track. If they want to go to college, then they are in a dual enrollment. They're going to graduate with a diploma, a high school diploma, and an associate's degree. If they want to go into a career, then they're going to be on that tech school track where They're working on their certifications so that way when they graduate, they can go into, if they want to be electrician, whatever technical, if they want to be a mechanic,
Love it.
entrepreneur. And then the third track is the military. And I'm not just talking about taking junior ROTC, preparing them for the ASVAB. So that way they can score at a level where they can get a job that they want instead of a lot of students are scoring and they have to settle for things because they don't get a high enough score on the ASVAB, because the ASVAB is math, your reading, your writing. So again, it's taking that idea of you have these courses that are relevant. So it wouldn't just be math, it would be something related to, you know, the the military track, or the different tracks, but the kids
And
get
it
to
makes
choose.
Yeah, and it makes it fun, right? So
Yes,
my
that
when
part.
in middle school, I had a one of my four. I'm not going to call them out. So it's one of the three because I said him. I got three boys and one girl. But so one of the three boys, he was having issues reading
Mm,
in middle school, elementary. Not issues. He just wouldn't read the books, right?
right, because they're
And
boring
he just
probably.
wouldn't do it. He just
Mm-hmm.
would not do it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went, we're talking to the teacher, and the teacher's like, "Well, what are you giving them to read?" And I'm like, "The same books the rest of them read. We got a library. We back then it was encyclopedias. Remember?"
Yep, I
I was
do.
like, "The same." They was like, "It's the same thing the rest of them are reading." And they said, "Well, what does he like?" I said, "He likes
Mm-hmm.
sports. He loves sports." They
Mm-hmm.
said, "Order him magazines, sports magazines, sports
Mm.
books." We did that. He never stopped reading.
Yeah.
He went on to do great things in college, and now he's working at Microsoft. So,
Mm.
but it was
Yep.
like we had to find his niche,
That's
right?
right.
He
That's
loved to
right.
read, but he didn't want to read what we was telling him to read. He read those they just came in all the time.
Yeah.
Sports magazines, read them backwards and forwards, the books, knows everything about everybody. It was about finding his niche,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so important. So, what would you? I mean, I can talk to you for days about education. What are your top things? Because it's a lot. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about we're 43. Where do you want to
Yeah.
see us go from
Yeah.
43? Do you think South Carolina can climb out? And
Oh
if we
yeah.
can, where can we climb out to? And what
Oh
are your top goals to make that happen?
yes. So my goal, I want us to be first. And if
What?
not first, top 10. Top
Yes,
10.
yes.
Yes. And we're gonna do it. We are.
Okay,
And I'm not just saying that because I have the experience to lead teams, because there are people that I've connected with all over the state who are ready to do the work. Because that's what you need. You need people on the bus who have the experience and who are ready to do the work, and we have that in South Carolina. So I'm ready to lead that. But the things that we need to focus on, because like you said, there's a lot of work to be done. Reforming special education is like going to be my biggest task.
okay.
Um, but where I want to start is early childhood education. That's where it starts, because like I told you, we have kids who are starting in the system who are already behind, and so that's putting us at a disadvantage. So if we can do a better job with getting our kids ready to read and learn by the time they get to kindergarten, and that's a community effort like you were talking about. It's going to take all of us working
Mm,
with the family, the community, um, and the student, but getting them ready to learn and read, and then building on top of that with early childhood education with some initiatives that I want to put together for that. Um, the second part is making our schools safe. A lot of kids are going to schools because it's not just intruders. They're going to buildings that have mold, buildings that when it
mhm,
floods, it rains, or sorry, when it floods, when it rains, it floods. So the
mhm.
students have to be rerouted. So just things that disrupts learning. And when
Right.
the learning is disrupted, then, again, that's putting students at a disadvantage. Classroom misbehavior, that disrupts learning. You have bullying that's happening at at an alarming rate. Just because people don't see the bullying doesn't mean it's not a bad, like a crisis. And I feel like we're getting to crisis level with the bullying. So one of the things that I want to do is create like this collaborative, or change the culture of our schools. And one way to do that is to implement programs. Like we had a program called Ron Clock Academy, where every student was a part of a team, and with that team, you did team building, teamwork. It allowed every student to feel like they were a part of something. They had that sense of belonging. Um, and so that's, and I'm not saying they have to use Ron Clark Academy, but
Hmm.
every school will have to implement some type of program. And of course, funding will come with this. Um, so that way we can increase that sense of belonging for our students, and um, start to increase like the empathy, the teamwork, just changing the culture of our schools. Um, and then after school safety, it's of course we need teachers.
Right.
Um, and so those are the top three things that I'm going to implement immediately to start to
Okay.
shift the culture and the narrative of education. There are bigger, deeper things that I can go into, but those are the top three immediately.
That makes sense. Now, I'm actually a question, and I just want to get your idea,
Hmm.
because I am a big supporter of our farmers.
Oh,
And
yes.
and I go out my way of supporting farmers as well as access to fresh local food and what
Yes.
we feed
Yes.
our kids.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on, and all schools aren't the same in terms of
Right.
food services. What are your thoughts on food services, sweet foods, sugary foods, what's being fed to our kids in schools? And what are your thoughts on that?
So Deshaun Blanding, who's running for commissioner of agriculture,
Yes, I met him briefly.
yes, he and I have already been in discussions about how we want to create initiatives that bring that fresh food, the farming to the schools. Um, and so that's like the fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, um,
Local grow, because
local
it's
grown,
different than
locally
having food
grown.
that's grown in warehouses
That's
and
right.
in other countries versus food, if I'm in the PD, food that's grown in Florence, Marion, Marlboro, like right here.
That's right. Locally grown. That's what we
Okay.
talked about. Initiatives for that because it's all part of the community. The
Yeah.
community supporting the community. Um,
That would
so-
be awesome
I
because
know. I'm
that
so
would take
excited.
taxpayer dollars into the schools, push it right back into those local farmer families.
Yes.
Then they hire people in the
Yes.
community. Then the food comes right back into the bellies where the kids go to school. So that's the whole cycle. I love it. Okay,
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to work with him. And then just to improve our ag programs as well throughout our state,
that's
because
it.
he has great ideas. Um, so I'm,
Agriculture is the number one industry in South Carolina, y'all.
yes,
Not number
yes,
two or three, it's number one.
yes.
And so, with it being number one in South Carolina and the technology that's around agriculture, we don't even have, Future Farmers of America. There is one in the private school here in Marion County, but I would love to see more curriculum in the schools around
Yep.
the agriculture and the technology of agriculture in the future.
That's the goal. The future is bright. The
It
people
is.
that are lined up, that's why people got to get out and vote because
It's
South Carolina is about to be elevated because we got the right people running, people who actually care about this state, who care about the communities and children and families. Like it's not about this partisan stuff. This culture war stuff is we're done with it.
we're
People
done.
are ready for change. They're ready for us to not be at the bottom of all the wrong things. They're tired of book banning and all that and bathrooms and no. How can we improve this state for our children and leave a better South Carolina for them? Because the direction we're headed right now, there's no focus on the children and the future. It's all about division and culture war. So
Yeah,
no more of that. We're done with it. Let's do what's best. Put partisan, the Republican, Democrat, whatever, put all that to the side and let's look at what's best for our kids, what's best for our state, what's best for the future. And we can do that together, united instead of divided.
we can. And I
Mhm.
have my final question for you, and this is probably maybe a hard question.
Okay. Okay.
Is that we are right now across our state, we have children that are 2 and 3 grade levels behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that if we start with early childhood education, we can bring them into the schools
Yeah.
not behind.
Yeah.
What do we do about those children that are behind? You have any plans, any ideas?
Yes. Thank you for that question because you're right. It doesn't just stop at making sure they're ready. We have to continue to grow kids. And that's part of my vision. I want to eliminate the end of year testing and I want to
Oh,
shift to, yep. And Florida did this in 2022. So it can be done.
okay.
And I want to shift to a progress monitoring, like a growth model. And what that looks like is the students will test at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. And we get data from that that tells us the students' strengths and their areas of improvement. And we build up their strengths, of course, and also we provide the support to elevate their areas of weakness.
Wait. So
Or
let me make sure I understand.
mhm.
So you're saying eliminate end of year testing, but really you're adding two more testing.
Well, with this, the elementary and middle school, they're already doing this. Have you heard of iReady and or map testing?
Yes. Yes, I've heard
Okay.
of iReady.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So basically, the school's already doing this. So we're just being more strategic with how we're going to utilize the data.
Got you. Okay.
Yes, because it's not anything additional. It's what we're already doing. And so
Which
provide
takes the
those.
stress. It's a lot of I like, last week I think they were testing and I just
Oh,
felt
yeah.
for the kids. I did. I felt for the kids, I
Mhm.
felt for the parents because everybody around here was stressed.
Yes, because that end of the
That's
year
not
testing.
good. But that can't help you do well.
Nope. And the other part of that is they don't even get that data till August.
Mm.
Yep, the teachers don't. I mean, the
And
district
this
office does because it's embargoed information, but they don't. The teachers don't get that. So how's it going to help improve? How's it going to help grow kids? You know.
right.
So,
So
oh yes.
I do have a question here from Lizzie. And Lizzie, thank you so much. She's asked a question at every single one of my lives. So I appreciate you. Maybe not
Yes.
the first one, but it's awesome because we all need to be vested in knowing about the candidates. So her question is, Lizzie
Hmm.
the rock star. How do you think Montessori programs are doing across the state?
So one thing about Montessori that I love is it puts the students in charge of their learning, right? That exploring and learning on their own. Not every kid um will function like well in a Montessori because again, they are exploring. It's like more of a free range of learning.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about Montessori is there are kids that will thrive in Montessori because every kid is different and they're unique. And Montessori provides that opportunity for students to, you know, work at their own level and their own pace and without a lot of, intervention from adults. They explore. And some kids will thrive in that.
Can you, because we have a Montessori program here in Mullins, and I see these kids thriving.
Mhm.
Um, for
Mhm.
folks that don't know what Montessori is, can you give us like just a high level what it is?
Um I think the best way to explain Montessori would be like in a kindergarten class, you know how you have the different stations,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the students can dress up as a different, you know, if the police officer, firefighter, things like that. So if we put that on a Montessori level, it's like different levels of reading. Um, the students basically, it's more of an exploration of learning. The
Okay.
students, they direct like their learning pathway. If I'm making sense. If
That makes a whole lot of sense, and
okay.
thank you so much, Lizzie, for your question. I hope you guys understand that because I'm just, connecting. I have some other questions for you because my kids were educated in New Jersey and in North Carolina. And North Carolina is where the Hunt Institute was founded under a new Governor Hunt. It was his passion. He's recently passed away, but it was his passion. And in North Carolina, they have IB schools. They
Mm,
have Montessori schools and my son Darius and Mia, my two youngest went to IB schools. They also have specialty schools like language arts schools, dance schools. They got a school that's a language immersion where the kids
mm.
only go and they only speak that language. It was funny. My friend of mine, her daughter was in a Japanese track, and she said she knows her daughter was cussing her out in Japanese. They can only talk Japanese. They're not allowed to talk English in this
Mm,
school. So I don't hear a lot about IB here. Does it
right.
exist in South Carolina?
Yep, it does. And you're highlighting the problem with access. There are
Mhm.
areas like the rural areas, they don't. I looked at the data, the high school data, and it's sad how the rural areas don't have access to IB. They don't have access to, like I said, certain areas don't have access to full career technology and or technical education. There's another one too, the AP courses. They don't have
Yes,
access to AP courses.
really.
So, yep. And I want to, that's that access that I want to change. But again, that comes with that conversation. Like I can't wait to have conversations with superintendents. Like, why is this not happening? Is it a funding issue? Is it people think that the students aren't high enough achievers to do it? And if that's the case, then why are they not? What can we do to prepare them to start, putting them in these classes, instead of just saying they can't do it? How do we know they can't do it?
That's right. That's
You
right.
know?
That's right. Well, listen, it has been fabulous. And Pamela, I see you. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate that comment. So listen, I'm going to give you the final word to make your final pitch. They're going to go vote tomorrow.
Yes.
As to, we want them to vote tomorrow. We want them to vote
Yep.
on Tuesday. Why should they vote for Sylvia Wright as state superintendent of education?
Yes. So I just want to reiterate, everybody getting out to vote starting Tuesday. That's been a big push. Um, don't be afraid. Some people are like, I don't want to vote because I don't want my vote to be taken. Don't don't fear that. Get out and vote. Um, Early precincts have been, or not early precincts, the polling where to vote has been posted online. If you go to my site, I shared what Representative Bamberg put out. He listed every county where you can go, the early voting areas. Please visit my website, right2026sc.com, to learn more about me. I still need volunteers. I still need donations. And of course, your vote. And why you should vote for Sylvia Wright. I am the best qualified candidate for this position. Like I said earlier in this broadcast, that I have worked on every single level. I've already I already have the experience of improving systems. And not only do I have the experience, I have the educational background to back it up. I'm personally invested in improving public education here in South Carolina. Like I said, I was born and raised in public education. My kids went through public education, and my grandson is. And so elevating public education is important to me. So if you're really ready for change, if you're tired of the status quo, if you're tired of us being in the bottom, if you're tired of your kids not having the best educational experiences, then I'm your person, because I will improve education. I will elevate us from 43rd to, if not first, the top 10 will be close to first, because that's my commitment to to education in South Carolina.
Awesome. Sold. I'm definitely sold. Listen, I thank you so much for your time. I know
Yeah.
every day is busy, especially the day before early voting starts. So I
Yes,
thank you
yes,
so much, Miss Wright, and I'll be
yes.
seeing you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, you heard her. You guys heard it. I see you, Lizzie. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me all day. It's been a long day. We've had multiple conversations. You guys have had the opportunity to hear from several people, and I can't think of any better way to close it than to close it on education, because our children are our future. And if any of your votes really matters, that one really, 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 really matters. So go out tomorrow. I have posted a link to the folks, and I do have some paper copies of the folks that I'm personally endorsing. So because these are folks that are candidates for change, and you've got to hear the passion from four of them, and I'm fired up. I see you, Heather. Thank you so much, Heather, for also joining in on multiple of the sessions. It meant a lot, because we got to get, people need to be informed, and we need to all make informed decisions. That's how we're going to move our communities forward. That's how we're going to make sure that we have playgrounds in our communities, clean neighborhoods, fix our roads, because at the end of the day, the children are our future. And if all they can do in Marion County is leave Marion County, what's our future? All right, y'all. It's been a great day. I hope you guys